Hello, it's the Narcissust Salesman, wanting and needing everyone to like me, disliking sobriety and all that's impact on my work for DLA, the pleasure matrix and its goals. Part 5. The rest of this video will not be in song form. Hello. Thanks for joining. This is part 5. If you've been watching, welcome back. If this is your first video, welcome for the first time. I'm going to talk a little bit in this episode about being a salesman, what that entails, what losing face has to do with those things in whatever way that it does have something to do with those things. How does it have anything to do with those things? And let's get into it. Okay, so the Narcissist Salesman. So basically, this has been coming up a lot for me recently as things progress in my life and I get further and further along in whatever narrative that I'm following. And through DLA, there's just further and further levels of getting through rackets and scaling back. And we've been in the last couple of years have been like really scaling a lot of things back, and it's created a lot of room to figure some stuff out. And for me, I really do not like or want to lose face. Losing face. What does it mean to lose face? Losing face. I don't even really understand completely what losing face means. I get it. It means like to take the face, which is like, whatever the fake facade whatever. For a bad boy, it's kind of different, but the face is like the protection, the thing that the lie that you're kind of putting out there. As like, I don't know, in ancient, not even in ancient, in Japan and China, they view like the worst thing that you can do to someone is have them lose face, which was basically lowering yourself or having yourself be perceived as not something completely 360 bulletproof, I would maybe say about it. And I never really want to lose face, and that's the hardest part, I believe, of living a successful real life as a bad boy for me, as a narcissist. And in the pain matrix, it can be rewarded sometimes. And, sure, I got plenty of little rewards in it. I was decently successful in the pain matrix up until the end there, where I started getting into really hard drugs that were kind of like couldn't do much else besides them. But yeah, I was pretty successful in the pain matrix, just huffing off of the fumes of whatever I was able to put together by saving face. And, just doing that in a business context. I ran my own record label. I had I was a musician. I was completely miserable. I was addicted to drugs. I was super anxious. I was freaking out all the time, unhappy, unsatisfied in relationships, had so many unresolved feelings, unsubstantiated things coming to my life. I felt burnt out at like 24 years old. I felt tired and burnt out, on the edge, suicidal, just bad. But I was saving face, and I looked like I had a good life, and people out there thought they wanted to be my friend or whatever. But I was really empty. And it's not really rewarding out there for a bad boy to be keeping face. Like the Japan I used as an example, like the worst thing you can do is lose face in Japan, and it's like a crime to even do so. Like even accusing someone of a crime that's real, if it makes them lose face, that's actually like a crime. They have like a thing what's it called? Libel is like next level in Asia because of losing face. But Japan's a dying country. They're not having children. It's freaking out. Not enough women. And the Yakuza's dying. Like, there's no Yakuza's done, and they're all depressed and old and killing themselves. And so that's how Asia's having like a moment right now. China's freaking out. They're not having enough babies. Losing face is having a decline right now. It is not trending. Everyone's America's totally holding a lot of face, but I've talked about shame in like previous videos that I've done. And losing face is kind of about releasing that shame in a healthy way rather than letting it like fester and fester until you're like a suit, like one of those, like you're like a rubber suit, like how Joe Biden is just like filled with flies, like insects. It's like a bad boy. If you just don't lose face, eventually you will become a rubber, like blow up suit that's just filled with shame, and shame is like the meat in your body, and it's just filling up this giant sack that is you. So that was me. Sometimes it is me when I let the shame grow. Losing face is a healthy thing for bad boys to do, because otherwise we just become this like literally the sack filled with flies, shame flies. And how does that all tie into being a narcissist salesman wanting and needing everyone to like me? Well, as bad boys, we think that we can PR our way into your hearts, and we can charm you into liking us by presenting this really, really pretty lie or whatever. Just a lie. It's not always pretty. Just we present ourselves as a lie, and then we're like, okay, here's the lie. You should like us. And sometimes it works short term. Bad boys are great at short-term relationships. We're great at one-night stands. We're great at first impressions. Not so good at LTRs. Not so good at LTRs. Not so good at long-term business relationships. Not so good at longevity, because we burn out and we burn other people out, and then people feel burned by us, and then they walk away, and that doesn't lead to long-term relationships. So that's because we, instead of losing face and being whatever, like saying the thing. The thing is, like, bad boys die in motorcycle crashes. They lose their kids in custody battle, their children custody battles. We're gonna lose in other places in our life. It's just like whether we choose to hold on to, like, control the narrative, command or whatever, whether we make it on our terms, which is a great way. Losing face is sacrificing ego. It's the good kind of sacrifice. If we actually make that choice and do that, then it can be good. It can actually happen on our terms and be a positive thing. And then we don't have to lose our children in custody battles, lose the wife, lose the leg. In the old pirate days, you got pirates losing their legs or getting their tongues chopped off. Sometimes the head needs a good scratch, regardless of who you are or what your position in life is. Sometimes the head needs a good scratch. So not losing face. I think losing face is like about releasing that shame so that it doesn't fester, and it lets you experience all of the other things and feelings and states that Yahuwah has given us as humans. And I think bad boys have I certainly have a great way of like pigeonholing my life, like really like typecasting what my life is going to be, deciding it's only going to be like this thing, and not opening myself up to like all of the other miracles that happened all the time through worship of Yahuwah and being like a good guy. Instead, I lie and fill things and make I live in a Groundhog Day. Great movie about this, Groundhog Day. He wasn't willing to lose any face until the end, and then when he was willing to lose face, guess what? his life worked out and he didn't have to live the same day over and over again. And guess what? People liked him. You know? Because whatever, he was a real guy. He wasn't just, they didn't like him in like the kind of fake way. The kind of like and respect I probably had from people is not like, I wasn't known as an asshole. Probably to some people I was. I wasn't known as like an asshole in the same way that, you know, Bill Murray in Groundhog Day was known as in the Pain Matrix. But, you know, that's the kind of thing that like losing face gets you. It's like people kind of fear you and they like, but they don't like you really. And like, but they fear you and they want to be close to you because they can tell you have some clout that might work for them. And that's what I was like. Those were the kind of relationships that I had in the Pain Matrix for the most part. How do you lose face as a salesman? I never really got that. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's not something I'm particularly good at. To me, being a salesman, like in the Pain Matrix, or like the way that I have written it, and this is coming back to like narcissist salesman wanting and needing everyone to like me, is like lying is, and like I always like lies and sales have always gone together with me. Like honest business, like, you know, maybe I watch too many movies with bad guy business people, but the honest business, like I always kind of, I don't know. I didn't go about business here in the most honest way that I could have by any long shot. Got me where I need to be right now, but I didn't do it. And so being a salesman is like saving as much face as you can. And lying is a really potent way to save face, because if you're lying all the time, people don't know who you are. And my thing that I like to do is like to keep all of my relationships separate. Like, don't let anyone, and this was something that I got from DLA. I didn't come up with this on my own, but like keeping all of my relationships separate. Like everyone who I know or who knows me doesn't know each other, because if they knew each other, then they would talk, and then none of the stories might not all add up. And then I was in trouble because they're going to start talking. And in my mind, it's like they're all going to get the fucking pitchforks and torches out, and then they're going to chase me because I'm the big mean ogre. And if I can keep them all separate and like really cradle like a PR, just a really blissful PR'd relationship with that person, just with no conflict, nothing that's going to get in my way, nothing's going to stir the pot too much, then, well, what can I say? It's, then like I'm not at risk of like having to be myself 360, because I don't, you know, the little me does not want to be myself 360 and live like a wholesome slice of life. The demon worshipping side of me who's like, you know, Hassatan's the best and Yahuwah's a joke. That part of me really doesn't want me to be a slice of life guy who's honest and living in integrity and just letting all the joys of life meet him face first, not running. So yeah, I mean, lying is really quite damaging, and it can keep, you know, it like feeds the feeling of wanting and needing everyone to like me, but it actually doesn't add to that, because a human being does not need to be like a man does not need to care about people liking him. Doesn't actually even have to care about people respecting him. He just has to respect himself. And once you respect yourself, and I guess like yourself, you know, if you're secure, then everything else is going to happen because of that, and people are going to come to you, and it's going to be good. And the way, so in business, I always figured that, you know, the lie was the way to make the sale. Whether that's selling something, like literally selling something, which I, you know, don't have a lot of experience with. Back when I worked in the music business, I would sell a service that we would provide, and I was the guy trying to get the most for the least. I was pretty good at it. Or it was like selling myself as a charity case, which I'm not bad at all, or myself as like a friend or a person to be around. There is an element of like dishonesty in that comes from wanting to be liked and needing to be liked. And sobriety confuses all of that, you know? Sobriety, like, none of that behavior is actually emotionally, intellectually sober behavior. Intellectually sober is the hardest for me, I think. Emotional insobriety comes when I'm being intellectually insober. Like, it gets exacerbated by intellectual insobriety for me. And yeah, all of this makes business feel like a sin. It feels like it's like I'm doing something bad over here. I'm doing something bad, but I have to, because someone's got to bring home the bacon, the bread, bring home the turkey. Put the turkey on the table and slice her up. Someone's got to do it, and I just figure, like, well, in my own warped, brain-damaged mind, I just conflate all of that with dishonesty. I don't exactly know what totally honest social business would look like, and I have been holding myself back here in Day Life Army since I got here, not exploring that fully and just taking the chance and just doing the thing and seeing what would happen, like fully just embracing the thing and just doing it. Never really just, I don't know, didn't do it. And negative self-talk's been a big part of this for me throughout the whole thing. I'll probably do we'll probably do a whole episode on negative self-talk. Maybe the next one we'll do a episode on negative self-talk as it has to do with this topic. Because if I don't get, as a result of not getting the attention that I actually want and need, I use all of this fake attention as an opiate, and money and charity attention as opiate, and a distraction from like earned business attention from men that would actually serve me. But I choose not to care about any of that. So next episode we're going to talk about negative self-talk as it has to do with being a narcissist salesman. And it's going to be a good one. I encourage you to join in. Thanks for joining me on this one. Do these once a strong usually, unless some major interruptions are coming. This is the way it is. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.